Let's kick off with driving safe. And 2,924 people have died through road crashes in 2021. That's almost a 13% rise compared to the year 2020. And these are official figures released by the Ghana Police Service. As a way of reducing the carnage on our roads, the service says it has arrested some recalcitrant drivers and traffic offenders whose actions account for a percentage of accidents. Director of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police Service, Superintendent Alexander Oppong, spoke to me a while ago on Newsdesk. He had this to say.
Police now have capacity together with our partners to detect offensive conduct on the road regarding the non-compliance of safety rules that normally expose all of us to danger, and that our capacity extends to detection. People being forthcoming, irrespective of what you think you are, because all of us are not exempted from the compliance of the road law, and therefore it's not about for any profession but having a driving license. And anybody who has been privileged to have been issued with a license, if you don't comply with the laws, know that you will be arrested, and you cannot hide behind any immunity. And that should be made clear to all license holders, because if you are a driver, you are primarily a driver before any other profession. And that if you commit any road offense, know that you have a day in court with police and the court. Compared with the same period last year, this year you have seen a massive increase in terms of those who are arrested for varying offenses last year as compared to 2020. And I believe that as many as were convicted as compared to 2020, and as many as have been fined to pay more than, I believe, 3 million Ghana cedis, and over 30, I believe, have been put in jail. For,
quick clarification, Supo. When you mentioned the 3 million Ghana cedis, for which period? Is it the entire year, or is it just for?
Yeah, as compared to 2020, I think that was increased over the same period, 2020. And I think that we, still have to pride ourselves with the number of arrests. But it is indicative of the level of indiscipline. And that is why it is a ground for us to stand on and admonish our transport operators, and then vehicle owners and drivers.
Well, the latest release from the Ghana Police Service also shows that 15,608 people are battling various degrees of injury. This is also a 1.05% rise compared to last year's injury figure, which stood at 15,517. Now, out of the 2,924 lives we lost last year, 1,266 died through motorcycle-related crashes. 4,758 also got injured through the same means. There were 2,930 pedestrian knockdowns, and in all, 28,152 vehicles were involved in last year's crashes. This, again, is an 11.93% jump compared to last year. The regional breakdown now, the Ashanti region was the worst hit, as 606 people got killed there and 3,890 were injured. The Eastern region followed with 471 deaths and 2,598 injuries. In the Greater Accra region, 442 people were killed with 2,611 suffering injury. And the least recorded mortality region was the Northeast, with only 18 people dying and 57 people getting injured. The Oti region followed with 20 deaths and 19 injuries. On to our very next story now. And the Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwesi Amwakwata, is warning any project that stands in the way of the dualized roads government intends to construct this year will be demolished. He said no single individual would be allowed to stand in the way of the national interest. The minister said government's drive to dualize the country's roads is being impeded as some people are deliberately siting buildings in the way of the projects highlighted. He said this when he toured some road projects under construction in Tamale.
Roads Minister Mr. Kwesi Amwakwata is in the northern region as part of his visit to inspect roads on ongoing road projects in the area. Addressing the media, the minister said government is embarking on a drive to dualize major highways in the country.
The Accra-Kumasi dualization is going on in earnest, and so many sessions will be started, any moment from now. As I drive between Accra and Kumasi, so many private individual projects and developments are coming up, and I get frightened. Everybody wants to site his project by the roadside, and I'm at this stage advising, and if I am pushed, warning every potential developer. I won't even advise, I am warning every potential developer that you make that mistake and start your construction. We will get to you soon, and when we get to you, even if it's a 10-story building, it will be demolished. Every Ghanaian should know that, because no Ghanaian is bigger than this country. And if we get to you, whoever you are, whatever money you think you have, to us, you are joking, okay? Everybody should be careful.
The minister expresses satisfaction at works on the interchange and assured that it will be open to traffic in the second week of March.
Excellent work is being done. The contractors, together with the resident engineer, who is the consultant, assured me that every work associated with it will be completed by the end of February. So the first 2 weeks in March, they will use to tidy up the place completely. Then, anytime from mid-March, His Excellency, the President, will commission this project on behalf of the government and the good.
The Northern Regional Minister, Shani Alhassan Shaibu, said the provision of the interchange will relieve the stress commuters go through in the metropolis.
The provision of this interchange will relieve us from the stress that people go through, commuters go through. This is the road that links the north to the south and even to the Sahel regions. And so there's always that heavy traffic, long vehicles, buses, coaches and other things will always pass through here to link up with the northeast, north, upper west, upper east, and even Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso.
The roads minister, who earlier paid a courtesy call on the Northern Regional Minister, said the MPP government has done some significant work on roads in the country, moving it from between 39 to 45%.
Around 45 or 2%, and to move the road sector, from almost some put it 39, some put it 41%, but move it from there to 45, only 45% is quite significant.
We apologize for the poor quality of sound in those videos. Let's talk SIM card re-registration now. And mobile telecommunications giant MTN says it is adopting measures, including the deployment of mobile registration offices to institutions, among others, to decongest its re-registration centers across the country. The ongoing SIM card re-registration exercise has seen a significant increase in long winding queues and congestion at various centers. Persons subjecting themselves to the process over the last couple of months have expressed grave concerns about the undue delays and the cumbersome nature of the exercise. They have demanded that the telcos find innovative ways of easing the data collection process. MTN had since that time heeded some of these calls. We'll hear from them shortly, but first let's hear my colleague Manuel Kranting in this report after he visited some centers yesterday.
Long queues, wobbling legs and exhausted customers. The typical scenes at the many mobile operator outlets across the country on Thursday. This has been the trend since the new year started as subscribers race against time to meet the National Communications Authority's March 31 deadline for the re-registration of all SIM cards using only the Ghana card. The queues, which start forming as early as 5 a.m., will just not move.
Today you're able to do it. Maybe definitely we will stop. You won't do it. We'll go to space and then do our normal calls as during that time we do it. Because if we see how the service is not working, we are supposed to go to work today. But because of the SIM registration, we are here, we've left everything in the house. You see, it's going against us.
I came here yesterday around 6. I couldn't do it because after being through the line, they told me that I have to do some linking, and because I've done the linking yesterday, I cannot do it yesterday now, so I have to come next day. Yeah. It's today that I came back, they said there's no network, so we are still there.
What time did you get here today?
I get here around 7. Yesterday I didn't go work. If I'm not able to do it today, that means tomorrow I have to come back again. You see, that means I've wasted all my strength.
I when yellow. Network in here.
We have been in this queue for so long, and they say the network is down. We have left our work and we are here. If we leave, we may not return. We were here.
Network because and say register with SIM.
At the Ring Road office of MTN, the wait had almost become a punishment. The legs of 66-year-old Auntie Emilia could not hold any longer. She finally sat on a bare floor after waiting several hours without progress.
We have been here from 6 a.m. We have been in this queue since then, and they keep telling us the same thing. They say we can leave if we can't wait. The only problem is that no one can do it in our stead, so we have to come ourselves. This is so frustrating.
On that same beat, we hear from MTN's General Manager in charge of Regional Sales and Distribution for Southern Ghana, Abubakar Mohammed, on what the company is doing in response to the demands from customers.
Going forward, to decongest, we will have almost 200 community activations happening across the country. At the same time, we will have the mobile teams that will also be going through the institutions to support them with the re-registration exercise. We also have in plan to increase our devices in trade to support the activations. So all these put together, we believe we'll be able to decongest our service centers and also help customers. We're key to also support with the decongestion is for the customers to initiate and do the first leg, which is the *404#, where they will do the self-service to link their Ghana card details to their registration details to generate the unique code. Most often they go to the service centers without that. So the agent would now then start the first process, which will require some time before then start the bio capture, which also takes some time. So we will encourage our customers to first of all do the first leg, which is the self-service by linking their Ghana card to their numbers. Then later they can go ahead and go to any of our touch points to complete the process by doing their bio capture. We hope this will help us going forward to decongest. Customers don't need to go to our service centers. We have the LRS as outlined. They are almost 268 across, and we are continuing to deploy more where they can. Anywhere they see the SIM registration banner hang, they can walk in there and have their bio details captured.
Today happens to be Constitution Day, and Fix the Country convener Oliver Barker-Vormawor says the political class is unwilling to support moves to overhaul the Constitution. The pressure group has for some time been calling for the fashioning of a new Constitution. According to Oliver, political actors in opposition only pay lip service to the change in the Constitution, but when they assume power, are unwilling to cause for change. He says that is the case because the current document favors the political class. He cites the absence of a budgetary allocation to constitutional deliberations as a pointer to the fact that it is not a priority for the current government. He spoke on the AM show with my colleague, Israel Lai.
So, I was part of that constitution review process. And I understand that a lot of times, because we are too distracted by shiny processes, we do not interrogate them enough. And I say this because when that process was put in place, it came again under a part of the Constitution as a commission of inquiry powers that was used to set it up. What it meant in essence was that whatever report that was produced was only going to be an advice to the president, an advice he could refuse to take on board or not. So the manner in which it is even set up tells you that there's no real commitment that whatever the product of that process is would lead to anything substantial and tangible. And the history has shown us that that's exactly what happened. So we have to be very mindful and be watchful of statecraft and how these things are orchestrated, because we can go around this dance. And we've been doing it since 1993. In fact, when the Constitution was put in place, the MPP then tradition had said that no, this was the worst document they had ever seen on the continent, and they're going to get a new Constitution in the shortest possible time. We are here over 30 years now, and we are still indulging in this game. You've seen my majority leader also talk about the need for a substantial review. Listen, it's not anything different from what they said in 2010. And we are here 12 years later. So I guess I've lost the pretense, right, that comes with, yeah, something is going to happen in the Constitution, but it's a document that favors the political class. And that's why they are very much opposed to any idea of talking about the change of the document, because they understand that any change of it will go substantially to affect the ways in which we have structured government that favors a certain limited class of people. And so they continue to throw in this review there. They give you a sense of buzz and excitement about it. But honestly, let's go back to the budget that was presented this year. Did we see any budget allocated for constitutional amendment? No. It gives me a clearer sense that it is not executive priority at this time. So if a wing of the executive, which is the NCC, comes out and says this statement, you've known this a long time ago. We've been talking about this forever. So what has changed now? Did they present any budget towards educating Ghanaians towards a need for a referendum? The NCC did not. In fact, in preparation for this day, one of the things which the country has been doing is that we've been talking to Ghanaians across the country, whether you have ever even seen the constitutional document and then read it, together with those who have not seen it and those who have not read it. About 86% of our people have never seen nor read the Constitution. That is damaging for a democracy which has committed money and has a whole institution which has branches across districts in the whole country to be educating people on the Constitution. It is part of the gimmick. And I cannot explain, I cannot find new ways to explain how nothing is going to happen, because the system doesn't want it to happen. And if we want something to be changed or reviewed, overhauled, whatever form we say we want it, because I don't want us to be distracted in, oh, you guys say you want the change, but review is what we need. That's why no action is being taken. For those who believe in a review, go ahead then. Initiate the process and do something about the Constitution process. They're not going to do anything. And that's kind of what I want Ghanaians to be aware of and not fall into this game, really.
But what exactly does the public make of this holiday? Here are some views from the streets of Accra.
Well, I haven't even thought about today being a constitutional holiday. I'm a businessman and I don't really focus on government businesses. So I'm not well in tune with the constitutional affairs of the country.
Constitutional holiday is a new policy that has been brought into the country. So each and everyone is celebrating it outside. Yeah, that's what we are only resting. During holidays, you need to be in the house and have a rest, have a chat with your family. and have fun.
I think is that it reminds us of the Constitution, 1992 Constitution, how it came about and the logics behind why they were put in place in the Parliament. For me, I am busy at the office, so I have so much to do, and I'm on my way to the office to get my work done.
So every day we are expected to live our lives in conformity with what the Constitution states. So I don't necessarily think that a special day should be designated for a Constitution Day, because the Constitution guides our lives every day as citizens. Without the Constitution, definitely there would have been chaos. Probably if we as citizens and the government, gubernatorial actors, do the needful in ensuring that the details of the Constitution are truly enacted. The concept of balancing of powers, effecting punishments for people who contradict the whims and caprices of the Constitution are properly dealt with, then probably you could see that there should be much enthusiasm celebrating a day like this, knowing that you are remembering and you are kind of using days like this to give more rise to people to to praise the government for actually ensuring that the rule of law is operating well. So for me, until we reach a point at Africa, at Ghana, where rules are effected, the Constitution is effected well, people are punished accordingly, then a day like this will be like any other day.
Staying on the subject, Interior Minister Ambrose Derry has poo-pooed suggestions that the 7th of January, declared as Constitution Day, is an idle holiday. He noted that the holiday would rather make people reflect, improve, and consolidate the gains made by the people in embracing multi-party democracy. Ambrose Derry, speaking in an exclusive interview with Joy News Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam, called on Ghanaians to be tolerant and respect one another's views, which the Constitution requires from the citizenry.
What is happening in Parliament now, in the 8th Parliament of the Fourth Republic, is a matter of concern. I say so, and I want to put it in context. This is the 8th Parliament, and probably when the President decided and we went to Parliament to declare 7th January Constitutional Day, some people thought it was an idle holiday. It is not an idle holiday. We want people to wake up from complacency, that we think that we have arrived as a multi-party democracy. Yes, within the region we are a shining example, but I believe that the Constitutional Day should give us an opportunity to reflect and improve and consolidate. And one aspect of our democratic attitude that we must develop and build on is tolerance. Tolerance of different views. And that's what we need to build on.
Ambrose Derry further noted that the current happenings in Parliament are a concern for all, stating he is looking forward to the resumption of Parliament for members to be more tolerant towards one another.
The Constitution requires that we are tolerant, and I'm looking forward to us doing the right thing, tolerating each other's views in Parliament, reflecting the nature of the people that we represent, Ghanaians, peace-loving people, and continue to build our democracy. That is what I look forward to. And to say that the President will continue to develop, we want development, we should learn to pay, contribute to it. The e-levy is being misunderstood, and I believe that if we can allow MTN, when I'm sending money to Nandom, I pay 5,050, I send 5,050 and I pay another 50 and I get nothing. And we want you to pay to the state and get better rules and employment for our youth. I'm calling on all concerned to reconsider and support us constructively moving forward, to get the necessary resources to build Ghana and move towards a Ghana beyond aid. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, it's been exactly 1 year since President Akufo-Addo assumed office for his second term. We have been out and about sampling some views on how he has fared so far. Here are some responses right here from Accra.
The first term was better, but I believe the COVID-19 affected his second term. So, things are not moving on well as it should have been. The COVID-19 really affected his second term. It's affecting his second term. Fuel prices are high, but it's all over the world.
For the first term, he did very well, and then I think things work out. But the second term seems the way things are going, and then there has been new implementation of, I think, the e-levy, and then the way some workers, especially those who are not all that educated, are complaining about the economy. I think there has been a hardship in the economy, and then people are suffering a lot. Yeah, I think, and then there has been inflation is everywhere, and then day in, day out, price of goods are always increasing. So I think if the president can do something about that one too, I think for the second term he's doing well, but for the look of things, the way inflation and then those things are happening, if he can do something to help us, I think we'll be cool with it.
People don't have work to do, and then people are suffering. So what I'm suspecting for the president what he will do, he said, people need work. So people, they are make criminal things. So if they like work day, and then I think say people no go do that. So what I'm begging the president to say, now people need work.
First term is a little better. None of them is okay, but the first term is better. Second term, not encouraging at all. It's been challenging. It hasn't been encouraging. The governance, the management, the economy, we are all reading and we are all seeing stuffs. So we hope that he does well. By the time he leaves his office or by the time his term ends, he proves something right.
Let's reflect now on prophesying and the law. And the Ghana Police Service has commended religious bodies for respecting the directive, asking them to do away with prophecies that would create fear and panic as the country ushered in the new year. In a press statement released Thursday, the 6th of January, the police, however, reiterated that the law and the police are not against religious practices. Let me share with you full details of that statement as issued by the Ghana Police Service. And it reads, further police statement on the communication of prophecies. We're bringing you the details, and it says, the police wish to commend all religious groups in particular and the public in general for their support and understanding of our proactive policing initiatives on the communication of prophecies and related matters prior to the 31st of December celebrations. Following this initiative, multiple video footages have come to our attention regarding the communication of prophecies on the night of the 31st of December 2021. Police have begun analyzing these videos to ascertain whether any of them is in breach of the laws of the country, and anybody found culpable will be put before the court. In the third point, it says, we would like to caution that the law on the publication of information, including prophecies that have the tendency of causing fear and panic or putting people's lives in danger, is not limited to the 31st of December only, but should be adhered to on a daily basis. We wish to reiterate that the law and the police are not against religious practices or the performance of religious doctrines and beliefs such as prophecies. However, if such information is communicated publicly and undermine the laws of the state, the relevant laws and sanctions will be applied. And it is signed by Superintendent Alexander Kweku Oppong, who is Director of Public Affairs with the Ghana Police Service. We're joined now by Rev Dr Oppong Frimpong. He is Executive Director, Alliance for Christian Advocacy, Africa, and he joins us with some thoughts. Reverend, thank you for joining the conversation. What is your reaction to this latest development so far? The Ghana Police Service is saying it is happy that most religious institutions stuck to its directive concerning prophecies, but it is saying that it's going to examine whether or not any of you were in breach and to take it further to process such people for court. Your initial thoughts?
Yes, good afternoon, my brother Akapo, and let me say good afternoon to your cherished viewers.
And as the Ghana Police Service is commending faith-based organization leaders, we equally want to also extend the same commendation to the Ghana Police Service, the various media houses, and of course, colleague ministers who have helped for us to have a significant reduction about the religious abuses. Now, let's keep that in mind. We are talking about religious abuses. And I must say that from our observations so far, we have had significant reduction. Now, let me say that the Ghana Police Service, they are not saying church leaders should not do our job, we should not prophesy, we should not exhibit or demonstrate spiritual gifts. They are talking about religious abuses, something that has lived with us over the years. My brother, just imagine a young lady will find her name on TV, on radio, on social media, that she will be raped. Now, even if she's going to be raped, the same laws that grant freedom for you, the pastor, to do your job, to preach, to prophesy, we must have in mind that that young lady, the laws of this land also protect her privacy and her dignity. And so pastors should know that you can't just go around and say that young lady will be raped, and you mentioned her name, that somebody will be gunned down, and we give dates that somebody's husband, somebody's father, somebody's son will be gunned down. And you think in the name of God, in the name of spiritual gift, you are right. We cannot be right. And here, moving forward, I will want to recommend that the various faith-based organizations, especially churches, must strengthen our legal department. Some of us have legal department attached to our various churches. So that things that we have taken for granted over the years, we must know that moving forward, it's not like that somebody is persecuting us, but the police service and others are helping us to refine our performance and serve our church members and others better. It is for our own good, and it is for the glory of God, and it will serve the Ghanaian public better. Akapo.
Right, so it is clear that by and large you feel this is a step in the right direction, and like you're saying, this is something that the churches should embrace. But there are others who also feel that this is going to muzzle, churches and all of that as far as prophesying is concerned. How do you feel about that? Because the police service has said in its latest statement that this wasn't just for the Christmas festivities, it's going to be a daily affair. What is your quick take on that?
My brother, if you consider church services, especially the 31st night, prophecies were given, promises were given, prayers were said. I'm not sure the Ghana Police Service and others have gone to any church and stopped any man, woman of God that stopped prophesying, stop preaching, stop praying. We have not witnessed that. I don't think we are going to see that. What the Ghana Police Service is talking about, as I mentioned earlier on, is religious abuses. It has nothing to do with religious freedom and rights. Abuses are abuses, whether it's done by classroom teachers, whether it's done by professionals, whether it's done in the marketplaces, whether it's done in church, in our mosque. Abuses are abuses, they are wrong. The same way, if I go to church and say an armed robber entered into the church to abuse me, I will call the police service for protection as a Ghanaian to protect my rights. The same way, when the church also abused somebody in the name of religion, Ghana Police Service and the laws of this country must protect that Ghanaian. So moving forward, if the Ghana Police is going to sustain this, let's keep it in mind. We are talking about religious abuses. Of course, we will also caution that the police service must always make sure they don't cross the red line of giving impression that they are into religious persecution, that if we don't like you, if government doesn't like the way you do your thing, if a particular pastor or prophet prophesies against a particular political party, we want to use that to muzzle you. Now, that one, we can't go that direction. But so far, that is what the impression Ghana Police Service has given to us. Akapo.
Let's put a full stop on the discussion here. We're very grateful for your time. That is Rev Dr Oppong sharing his thoughts there. Let's talk now about children in cocoa labor and 800 cedis. Yes, that's how much it costs to get a child to work on a cocoa farm at Elokrum in the Western North region. The price slightly shoots upwards for children who are older. These are excerpts of Joy News' latest investigation titled Children in Cocoa Labor. Investigative journalist Kwetenate reports this illegal trade is negotiated between the farmers and the families of victims of trafficking.
12 million.
12 million.
50 million. You only see the way Kakra. Your fan 50 and 16. Hey, I want to cry your cock. One I'll wait here. You're Chiama, the papa. A true swap or no qua. Now, you're sending it. Now, it is come to obey you. My way, I want you to offer no. I feel you about one in the Kakra. Only 12.
Wow.
So, hey, so she's saying that's 8. 800 years, right?
And those are chilling excerpts of our latest Hotline documentary titled Children in Cocoa Labor. It will air on Monday, January the 10th at 8:30 a.m. on the Super Morning Show and 8:30 p.m. on the Joy News channel. Don't miss that one. Up next, though, we have business.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darrell Kwao. We begin from the ports and the implementation of government's policy directive on reversal of benchmark discounts on some imported items has been deferred once again to Monday, 17th January 2022. A statement said transitional arrangements to ensure smooth implementation will allow a storage-free period for vessels that discharged on the 31st of December 2021 to go through clearance without being affected by the policy. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, has meanwhile met with leadership of the Ghana Union of Traders Association and Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana to iron out any challenge as a result of the implementation of the policy. The two groups have kicked against the implementation of the reversal, initially targeted at reducing import duties of those items. Well, Samson Asaki Awingobit is Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association. He spoke to Joy Business after that meeting.
So which some will do that we cannot pass on the cost to the final consumer. Even if you are passing, as we speak now, if you go to Tama and other areas, cold stores are full to the brim. Things are not moving. So we don't think this is the right time for government to, as a matter of fact, reverse this 10% and 30% discount.
My last question to you, what happens if you don't get that demand? And you talk about a compromise. What would be the perfect compromise?
Well, we cannot say now. That's why we have called that one. First and foremost, we are not engaged. One, the engagement to start. WTO even give that opportunity to us. And two, we want them to suspend this sine die until further notice. After we engage and we come, then of course we will put a cut. They will also put a cut, and we'll see at the end of the day where we are reach. We will have amicable solution to reach out to a compromise state. But as it stands now, we think that the suspension must be done until further notice. We need proper, not just one-time engagement. We need to engage proper. WTO will give you that. We are bringing a policy of this status. We need to engage your people, if not less than 3 months in the calendar of a year. And so at least even they give you 2 months or even a month, about 6 citizens definitely will reach at the point. But as we stand now, we are calling on the government to suspend and allow importers to go ahead to pay current duties and taxes to the government.
Now, cocoa carriers have rejected a 20 peso increase for offloading a bag of cocoa following talks with management of Cocoa Board. The proposal from Cocoa Board would have meant that the cocoa carriers would receive 82 pesos for offloading a bag of the commodity, but the workers are demanding 1 cedi for a bag. They have been on an indefinite strike nationwide for a third day. Let's now hear from Chairman of the Cocoa Carriers, Abobiga Raymond Atanga, who says his members will stop at nothing to ensure their concerns are addressed.
Why we are not accepting that is because we demanded for 1 cedi, and then they have been able to increase it to 1 cedi, 2 pesos, and they decided to give us 82 pesos and deduct 20 pesos to some people who don't know them. They call them directors or contractors who don't even know us. Now, this work we are doing, there's no pension attached to it, so we need to receive our SNP. But the 82 they are giving us now is without SNP. It's without welfare. It's without insurance. So we are just, if we accept this 82 pesos, what we are trying to say to ourselves is that we are risking our future.
So what does that mean? That you are continuing your strike?
You said?
I'm asking, does that mean that you would continue with your strike?
Until they pay us 1 cedi, we are continuing with the strike.
All right.
If the economy of Ghana is going to suffer, I think it's the management of Cocoa Board and not we, the carriers.
And a final story before we head out for this segment has to do with the digitalization agenda. CEO of Celtel Networks, Kofi Klugerson, has been speaking about that with head of Joy Business, Odilia Ntiamwa.
When you look at the children, in Ghana today, our children are very, very smart, and can do anything. When you go home, give your children smartphone and Wi-Fi, they keep quiet. They know how to do it already. So the next trend for the next 10 years is e-commerce. Now Ghana, we are drawing a lot of fintech again. You see, Ghana has focused a lot only on financial services, so everybody getting collapsing. But the foundation to build that financial services, if you look at MTN, MTN, Cyril Ramaphosa was then the general secretary. He pulled out, Nelson Mandela signed what they call a black empowerment. I think what the Minister of Finance, government should be doing is to move a bill for equity laws for our young people in this country. Because whatever they are building, they will get bought like we all suffered and struggle. It must not happen again. You see, so giving people 100,000 is not the way to go. In the US, in Britain, or whatever it is, they give them equity. There must be equity laws. In Malaysia, in Singapore, that's how they won, not by giving them cash. We tried NAPCOs or whatever. So I think that a bill, there are very smart guys in Parliament. I know most of them. Most of them are mentees. They are so smart that they came from somewhere. Let us make sure that, let us stall small. It's a good thing to get money, but let's stall small and transform this whole country into a major digital economy, as Bamia is saying.
And the full interview with Executive Chairman of Celtel Networks, Dr. Prince Kofi Klugerson, will air on the Marketplace at the top of the hour. Don't miss it. Up next, sports. Stay tuned.
This is how we wrap on Joy News today for this afternoon. Thank you for staying with us. You can check out more stories on myjoyonline.com. My name is Benjamin Akakpo. Do you have a good afternoon?